Polite inquiries. Gabba. Nevaneeth says, why was Indian bowling wayward?
That's the question of the day. It wasn't at first, the first hour. There was barely a bad ball bowled. I don't think I even saw a bad ball bowled.
No bad ball bowled?
I don't think there was a bad ball bowled. Was there? No, there wasn't. They were fantastic. Australia hardly scored any runs. I don't think there were any boundaries in the first hour.
I don't think they were wayward either in what they did next when they decided to bounce Mitchell Johnson and chat at Mitchell Johnson. I still think at that point they were still following a plan.
Yeah.
The plan was to run a motorcycle into a brick wall, but that was their plan. So after that, you get tired, don't you? It is hot.
Yeah.
Sorry if I've mentioned that before. Sorry if I've mentioned the heat.
Don't mention heat. But they were tiring at the end of the day. But if they could just replicate for a bit longer what they did in that first hour. I think
Most of us have a good hour.
Yes.
Luke says, has Mel asked Steve Smith to marry her yet? So we're using this question for one reason. It's because that's the best and only question we got on Steve Smith today. What is wrong with the rest of you?
I don't know. I will say that there's probably more chance of me asking Jared Kimber to marry me than Steve Smith.
I'm already married, he's not married.
That's my point.
I see a problem with your tactics.
I see many. But that was the only question we had about Steve Smith, and there should have been more because he was fantastic today. He was terrific. He's been so solid in that middle order for Australia for a long time now, and that top order has been shaky. Only Dave Warner's consistently made big runs.
I think they're the only two that average above 40, which is why India probably feel quite confident.
But he said before this test match that he was going to lead from the front with the bat, and today he walked the walk. And
walk the walk. We're really going to go walk the walk?
He is so mean to me. You have no idea.
Marathon says, has Virat Kohli led the side better than MS Dhoni?
Well, they showed quite a bit of fight in Adelaide, and you wonder if Virat Kohli, I don't know, would he have done what Dhoni did today and let them go on with that tactic, or would he have tried to put the foot on the throat a bit more? Because they could have put the throat on Australia.
Could put the throat on them. They could have
put the foot on the throat of Australia.
No, but what was interesting though was, yet again, it doesn't matter who captains India, they come up with these plans and they just keep doing them even if they're not working. We've seen that twice now. So would it have been different? I don't know. There was a point where they were bowling to the new ball just after lunch. It felt very Dhoni, but at the same time, I'm not sure Virat Kohli would have done anything massively different.
Well, remember first innings in Adelaide when they were coming around the wicket to Dave Warner and it wasn't working and they kept doing it and they kept doing it. That kind of reminded me a little bit of what happened today after that first hour.
Surab says, you planned the Monster Johnson column to perfection, didn't you? To be fair, A, I don't think he read it, and B, he still hasn't taken any wickets. So, yes, I made him make some runs by accident without him reading it. That's how good I am.
But the thing was, when he came back out to bowl, I think a lot of people were expecting that after making those runs, you know, the cliche that he bowls well when he bats well, because we saw the aggression with him holding the bat. I think everyone expected we were going to see a fired up Mitchell Johnson steam in and take a bunch of wickets. He still hasn't taken a wicket in this match, and he didn't look that threatening.
Quite interesting though. Obviously India sledged him and he looked really hard for a little while, smashed the ball everywhere. Had he gone out for about 30 or 40 quite quickly, and then Australia tail gone, he might have gone into the bowling with it. Instead, by the time he got to bowling, he could barely stand up from all his batting and he looked tired. So perhaps in India, what their tactic was to really tire him out after sledging him. Kartik says, did India miss a trick by not putting a fly slip or deep fielder when batsmen were going hammer and tongs?
Well, they did for Mitchell Johnson. They put one there, but it was Ishant Sharma, wasn't it? And Mitchell Johnson had one edge that kind of flew down that way, but it bounced a few metres in front of Sharma. And then the next thing, there was another top edge, and it actually just went straight over Sharma's head and bounced about, I don't know, half a metre inside of the boundary line.
Yeah, if I can channel my inner Ian Chappell, I would probably say that what they tried to do was be a bit tricky, and they tried to have the player 20 metres in, and it didn't work in either case. They might have maybe had a closer fly slip and have it right behind the slips, or have him right back on the fence. But I'm dying. But you know, these things happen. They tried the third man. I mean, the ball, whenever at one stage hit the ball back over the keeper's head.
At that point, there were so many edges flying around everywhere that Australia were riding their luck. When you've got that kind of tail enders batting freely, not really caring and having fun, which they were, a lot of things will go your way, I guess.
That's all says. Anthony Watson's equal 1 Mitch Starc. Will he perform better at number 11? Does she mean Mitch Starc or Watson? I thought Watson actually bowled okay. I thought he did quite well again with the ball.
Yep.
And I've already forgotten how bad he was with the bat. So as far as I'm concerned, he had a good day.
Well, he did. He was the best of the bowlers. I think it was like 4 overs, he'd only given away for 5 or 6 runs or something in his first spell.
Yeah, I mean, some people research these things. We know he bowled okay, is what I said.
Good. Well, he was good. He was probing.
He was good, right?
I think he was probing.
Yeah, a couple of times he did some things. He almost hit someone. Yeah, I thought he actually bowled quite well. It is interesting to me that when he's about to get dropped for his batting, he starts bowling well, especially with Mitchell Marsh maybe not bowling in the next game. I find that interesting, but at the same time, at least he's doing something. DT says, should India drop all bowlers and just play 11 batsmen? After all, when India lose, only the batsmen are playing.
Well, it was a bit like that, I suppose. And we've got some people asking whether they should go back to 5 bowlers, start that again. But it's like we said before, that they showed some real potential this morning and they've bowled well in patches. India just, seem to have this thing where as soon as something goes a bit wrong, its heads go down and it just all seems to peter out into nothing. There's no fire, and it's really funny because when they showed fire, it's like they were trying to be like Australia.
That didn't go well either.
That didn't go well either. So what do they do?
Importantly, there's a reason people do blame their batsmen more than their bowlers, and that's because this is not the absolute cream of the crop of world bowling out there. Yet their batsmen have Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, etc., Vijay. So it's a bit different. Of course, the batsmen get a bit blamed. In this case, though, perhaps the tactics were wrong. Perhaps it was a batsman. What the hell was Rohit Sharma doing getting in Mitchell Johnson's face? Quite often, he just sort of comes out and he sleeps bats for a little while. You don't wake him up. Let him leave a ball and get bowled or just gently nick off. What? Don't get in his face. That's stupid. Rohit Sharma, that's stupid. Everyone already doesn't like you. Why would you make it worse?
I will say one thing, if India don't go out and get runs on this track, then their batsmen will get it.
Joshua says, we've lost about a session of overs this test already. What's up? Wow, I mean, Steve Smith explained it. There's so many people walking behind the bowler's arm. You've probably seen that for about, 20 or 30 minutes a day. Sometimes it takes people 2 hours to clear behind.
We also had 5 million unscheduled drinks breaks today. At least 5 million, possibly 5.5 million. There were a lot of unscheduled breaks.
Occasionally, while having a drinks break, they stopped to have a drinks break.
They did. It was ridiculous, and it is getting more and more ridiculous. Jared, we've got to stop this.
First-class cricketers seem to be able to do it. So obviously, first-class cricketers don't play when it's hot.
Yeah.
Ponder what says, this ain't the Gabba we expected it to be. It's a featherbed. Any chances of deterioration? Wait a minute. Didn't Jonathan Trott and Alistair Cook bat here for about 400 years not that long ago? Hussey and Haddon, and there's been partnerships and all sorts of things. So, I mean, quite often people make a lot of runs at the Gabba. Not often is it the opposition.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. And it's the sort of track where once you get on, as Steve Smith said afterwards, he thinks it's one of the best batting tracks in the world because once you get in, then there are runs there to be had. There are a couple of cracks that you could see sort of come into it.
I've heard a lot about the cracks. I've not seen a lot of, movement from cracks.
No, that's what we haven't seen. We haven't seen movement.
There's been more photos of cracks than actual balls hitting cracks. Deacon says, who is Mitch of the match? My
Mitch of the match so far is Mitchell Stark because...
You didn't see him bowl in the first innings?
Yes, I did. But between the 3 Mitches, they've had 1 wicket. And Mitchell Stark has got the most, well, he got good runs as well.
But Mitchell Johnson changed the momentum of the match.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure we're ready for a Mitch of the match just yet, but if you want to ask tomorrow, we'll try and Mitch of the match then.
But...
Or the last day.
But
we'll Mitch of the match whenever you want us to Mitch of the match.
But you like Mitch of the match. But would you...
Mitch of the match. Mitch of the match.
Would you have expected Mitchell Johnson and Mitchell Stark to have scored more runs than Mitchell Marsh? Did I get my Mitches mixed up? My Mitch match.
Black Cat fan number 1 says, will Haddon retire himself or will he have to be sacked? Well, Steve Smith just basically said he wasn't even under pressure and everything was fine.
Just around the corner, runs just around the corner.
Is it 10 tests since he's made over 30 or something, or 50? Or,
averaging 9 in his last 12 innings.
If he's not under pressure, I don't know what you need to do sometimes to be under pressure in a cricket side, but he's a great team man and everyone likes him. Samuel says, hey Melinda, any advice for Ishant Sharma regarding a haircut?
Well, I washed my hair with a bar of soap this morning because I thought I'd run out of shampoo, so I clearly can't give him any. But I do like Jared's new do.
Brett Mackay says, why aren't you wearing a trucker cap?
Is that for me?
Lester Diamond says, what are you wearing, Jared? Smile. See you tomorrow.